Tucked away in one of the final chapters of the Bible, there's this absolutely stunning image, a wedding gown being prepared for the very end of time. It's the centerpiece of this massive cosmic wedding story. And this dress, well, it holds the key to a pretty deep spiritual mystery. So let's unpack this.
All right, so the scene is set in Revelation 19. All of heaven is just erupting in praise because, as it says, the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. And the absolute centerpiece of her being ready, it's all about this wedding gown.
And look, we're not talking about just any old dress here. The Bible is really specific about describing it. It's not just some detail. It's the main event, a symbol that's just jam-packed with meaning, and it explains everything about how this bride got ready for her groom.
So that's the big question, right? What exactly is this wedding dress made of? And maybe even more importantly, where did she get it? To find the answers, we've got to dig a little deeper, right into the original language of the text.
Okay, so let's get into the details. We're going to examine the garment itself, piece by piece, looking at the exact words used to describe it, because this is where we find our first clues.
The gown is made of fine linen. Now, the Greek word is bisanon, and you got to understand, this wasn't your everyday fabric. This was luxurious, it was expensive, the kind of stuff worn by kings and high priests. So right off the bat, we get this sense of incredible value, high status, and holiness. But it gets even better. It's not just fine linen. The Bible says it's shining and pure. The Greek for shining is lampron, which means it's radiant, brilliant, just splendid. And the word for pure is katharon, which means it's totally clean, white, with no spot or blemish anywhere. So what we're looking at is a garment of dazzling, perfect purity.
Okay, so we have this priceless, perfect gown. How in the world did the bride get her hands on it? Did she weave it herself with all her good deeds? Well, the answer, and this is the key to everything, is hidden in just one powerful little Greek word.
The verse starts with, and to her was granted. That word in the Greek is edothei, and it simply means it was given. This changes everything. The bride didn't make it, she didn't earn it, she didn't buy it, it was a gift, period. She is wearing a splendor that she had absolutely no part in creating.
And you know what's so cool about this? The verse doesn't make us guess what this amazing, gifted garment actually represents. It tells us, straight up. And this is where the whole mystery really starts to come together. Right there in the verse, it spells it out. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. So this shining, pure, gifted dress is righteousness itself. Okay, great, but that just opens up another huge question, doesn't it? What exactly does righteousness mean here?
I mean, is this righteousness just a big pile of all the good deeds the saints have ever done? Because if the gown was a gift, edote, how can it also be the righteousness of the saints? It seems like a contradiction, right? But believe me, the rest of the Bible makes the answer crystal clear.
See, the Bible talks about two kinds of righteousness. One we try to cobble together ourselves, and another that comes from God as a pure gift. Paul in Philippians says he doesn't want his own righteousness, but the one that comes from God through faith. Romans calls it the righteousness of God through faith. 2 Corinthians says we become the righteousness of God in him, and Romans 5:17 just calls it what it is, the gift of righteousness. See the pattern here? This isn't a righteousness they achieved, it's a righteousness they received.
Okay, so if it's a gift, how was it given? Where did this transaction happen? To get that, we have to go to the symbolic marriage altar, which is the cross. This is where the ultimate act of love happened, something theologians often call the great exchange.
And the idea behind it is so simple, but it is just mind-blowing. The prophet Isaiah says our own attempts at being good are like filthy rags. So at the cross, Christ took on all of our sin, our shame, our filthy rags, and in return, he gave his bride his own perfect robe of righteousness, his spotlessness, his beauty. It's literally the greatest trade in the history of the universe.
So you can think of it like this beautiful symbolic clothing ceremony. Step 1, the groom, Jesus, gives himself completely for his bride. Step 2, the bride's old identity, all her self-effort, those filthy rags, are put away for good. And step 3, she's dressed in something completely new, something not from her at all, his perfect, shining righteousness.
So we get to the heart of it. This whole time we've been talking about a garment, this fine linen. But the mystery is solved when you realize it's not a thing at all. It's a person.
The Apostle Paul just nails this down for us in Galatians. He says that those who belong to Christ have put on Christ. That's it. To be clothed in that fine linen, in that gifted righteousness from God, is to literally be clothed in Jesus Christ himself. He is the wedding gown. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. The wedding gown, the fine linen, symbolizes something of incredible value. We learned that it was a gift, edothei. It wasn't earned. And that gift is the perfect righteousness of Christ, given to his bride in that great exchange on the cross. So to wear the gown is to wear Christ himself.
And that leaves us with this one final, really profound idea to chew on. The bride at this wedding isn't beautiful because of anything she's done. She's beautiful because of who she is wearing. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What does it truly mean to walk through life clothed in a perfection, a beauty, and a righteousness that isn't your own, but was given to you as the ultimate act of love?